I'm gonna walk you through exactly how you can start an online business today by selling physical products on Amazon, even if you don't have a product to sell yet. Did you know that almost 50% of all online purchases happen on Amazon? That's more than all the sales of these 10 huge companies combined. So if you want to make money by selling products online, it only makes sense to sell them on Amazon because that's where people are already shopping. And luckily, Amazon makes it easy for us to do that. You can do it from anywhere in the world, you don't need any experience or schooling, and you can start small and scale up to 10K, 100K, or millions of dollars with just a laptop and some Wi-Fi. So here's how it works. We will use an Amazon service called FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon. It'll cost $40 a month to create an account, but it unlocks all the features that make Amazon so appealing. Number one, Amazon will store your products for you, so you get access to the Amazon warehouses. They will distribute your products globally. And most importantly, they will ship your products to customers with prime shipping. That's 1 day, 2 day shipping. And that is the main reason that so many customers choose to shop on Amazon. And of course, you're gonna be able to sell on the platform and use Amazon's ads, which we'll cover later. Now, if you don't have a product yet, don't worry. There are many different ways that people sell products online. There's drop shipping, wholesaling, reselling, and private label. We are gonna focus on private label because it's the only one that allows you to build a long-term brand that you control and own. Of course, there are their pros and cons for each of them, so it may be worth your time to do a little bit more research on which one you really wanna do. But at the core, what you need to know is that the other three methods all consist of selling other people's products. With private label, you control it. So here's how that looks. First, you find a product that you wanna sell. Next, you're gonna find a manufacturer, usually overseas in China, to save on costs. Then we have that manufacturer make the product for our brand, specifically for our brand. And then we're gonna get it onto a ship or a plane and send that product over from China to the United States. And from there is where we get the Amazon advantage. The whole reason we're doing this, because Amazon is gonna store the products, pack it, and ship it out to customers. The last thing that we need to do is launch, advertise, and really sell those products so Amazon can deliver it to customers' doors. Then at the bottom, you see the cash cycle. At the bottom left, there's that big influx of cash when you invest in your first product. Then as you ship and sell, you get that profit is where you start building that cash up, and then you push that back into the beginning of the funnel where you're finding, making, shipping, and selling more products. The whole goal is to continuously add products to your portfolio and continue the flow. So here's how to start. First, you're gonna go to sell.amazon.com. This is where you're gonna sign up and get your seller account. Now, you can do .ca to do the Canadian version or .uk to go to UK, but I'm gonna assume that everyone watching this wants to sell on the US platform because that's where is the most profitable, that's where you have the most opportunity. Even if you don't live in the US like myself, I live in Canada, but I still sell on the US platform. So once you're ready, let's actually just go to pricing and you're gonna see the cost to set up these accounts. Now there's two types of accounts. The first one is the individual plan and the second one is the professional. Now I always recommend getting the professional account because this is what we're doing. We're trying to build a business. We're not trying to dabble around. And this is per item sold. So once you sell 39 items, 40 items, the professional plan already is paying for itself, right? So this is what allows you to do PPC ads, to do all the cool things that I'm gonna show you to do throughout this video. Also, when you get your seller account, it only charges you for the first month, and then it only charges you once you have actually listed a product. So all the months that you don't have a product listed, they're not gonna charge you. So that's why we're gonna get the professional account. But before you click that sign up button and start the process, there's a few things that you need to get prepared. First, you need to check that you live in an accepted country for seller registration. So there's this big list here. There's actually more than what you see on the screen. So if you want to check this list out for yourself, you can go to the description of this video and I left the link there for you. Once you found out that you live in an accepted region or an accepted country, you need to make sure that you first have a government ID from that country. Number two, you have a valid phone number and they're going to call you or text you to verify your account. And then the third thing is a valid credit card, and you need a credit card to pay for your seller account and also to pay for PPC and ads as you grow your business. So once you have all these things ready to go, you can go click sign up and register for your seller account. These are the mandatory things, but there's also some things that are optional, but that I recommend. So the first thing would be to actually set up your legal entity right away. In In the US, that's an LLC, or somewhere else, Canada, like where I live, it's a corporation. This legal entity is gonna separate you, your personal self, and your business. So this gives you some liability protection. If you sell a product and someone tries to sue you for it, they can only go after your legal entity and they can't go after you. It also separates your taxes and just organizes your life from your personal life and your business. The second would be, once you have that legal entity open a business account, bank account for that corporation or for that LLC, again, to separate the money that you are making and investing into your business and to the money that you are pulling out and making for yourself. This also is going to lower your tax rate for your business income. And then third, finally, would be to get a business credit card for your legal entity. And again, for the same reason, to separate everything out. Now, once your account is set up, you are ready to start selling some products on Amazon. But what should you sell? First, these are the 3 main mistakes that new sellers make. Number 1, selling something because you think it will be cool. I believe that you should sell products you like or products that you believe in, but you don't sell products because you have a hunch or because it's something that you like to use. The reason you choose to sell a product on Amazon is because you are validating it with data. You are checking the numbers and seeing if it is a good opportunity or not because it's something that you would buy at Walmart. Number 2, selling a complicated product. I don't think you should sell electronics, things with too many moving pieces, topical products, meaning they go on your skin, or consumables, meaning you ingest them, put them in your body. Now, there are great opportunities in all of these types of products, but it's a little complicated and it adds a little bit of extra headache. And I think it's something that is not necessary when you're a brand new seller trying to get your feet under you in this business. I always suggest start with something simple and work your way up to these different and more complex opportunities as you get used to this business model. Number 3 is not thinking long-term. And this is probably the biggest mistake that new sellers make. They think only about the short-term profits. How much will you make in 3 months or 6 months? When really, you should be thinking about building a long-term brand from day one. This is the only way to have sustained growth. And the real success that you're gonna see is in the 1 year, 2 and 3 year window of this business. If you're thinking only about a short-term return, you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot and be just another one of the sellers that launches one product and never sees long-term success. And the beauty of Amazon is that we have access to the data. So all the information we need to make an educated decision when sourcing our products, we can access with external tools. So I use Helium 10. It is a paid extension, but you can actually get this tool right here, X-Ray, that I'm about to show you, for free. So there's a free version of this. You can just get it in the link in the description. And it shows you all the stats that you need, right? So how many sales they make, how much revenue, how many times this keyword is searched every single month. So that's really all the data that you need to look for a good product. So with all these variables, what makes a good product? Really, the objective on Amazon is simple. It's to sell a product that lots of people are searching for that other sellers aren't offering yet. The reason for this is because you want it to be easy to show up on the first page of results when people are searching for your product. Now, this is called ranking your product. Now, your goal as an Amazon seller is to rank on the first page for your keywords. So if I search spray can rack, and I'm looking, say, for this type of rack, right? There's only a few of them showing up on the first page here. So that's because there's not many people offering this exact product. And page 1 is critical because no one ever goes to page 2 or page 3 to buy a product. So you need to be showing up on the most important page to get those sales. And the way to get on this page is to find a great product opportunity and then focus in on these 3 main things. Number 1, add to carts. This is gonna surprise a lot of people because this is the most important thing when gaining organic rank. It's how many times are people clicking on your product and adding it to cart. It's not actually purchases, it's just adding it to their cart. Number 2 is views and searches. So how many times are people viewing your product listing after searching for it? This is why it's very good to bring outside traffic from outside of Amazon, like TikTok, Facebook, Google, and then bring them onto Amazon to see your product. Number 3 is then purchases. People search for your product, they click on it and view it, they add it to their cart, and then they purchase. If you can get people to do that, you will drive up your organic rank so you can be number 1 on your most important keywords. And what I just said there is very important to understand because your product will have a different rank for different keywords. Now here's what that means. So if we go to Amazon, we can search USB stick. Now here are the rankings for this product under USB stick. So this guy is ranking number 1, but we can also change this to be USB drive. And now that is a different keyword. So we can see he's still ranking number 1. Now let's see USB thumbstick. So we search USB thumbstick. It's another type of search for this same keyword. And that guy is no longer ranking number 1. Now this guy is ranking number 1, still SanDisk product, but a different USB stick. So that is why it's important to know your different keywords, because people and customers search for products in different ways. So you want to rank number 1 for as many different keywords as possible. Now the good thing is that we don't have to guess what keywords people are searching. We can go into our Helium 10 tool and search the term USB stick into their search here. And it's gonna show us all the related keywords. So instead of guessing which keywords people are searching, we can know exactly which ones are getting searched the most. External hard drive, flash drive, USB drive, hard drive, these are the searches that people are searching the most. So as an Amazon seller, if we want to sell these products, we know that we want to rank number 1 for these keywords because they are gonna drive the most searches, meaning it's gonna allow our product to be seen the most times, which will give us the most potential sales. It's also important that when you're looking for your product that you check that they don't only have one keyword. So if flash drive was the only way people were searching for this product, that means that we have to do well for this one keyword. You want to find a product that has multiple ways that people are searching for it, because then there's opportunity for you to rank number 1 on a few searches instead of every seller battling for just one main search. So the 3 key things to keep in mind for your product is number 1, they have to have a variety of keywords, meaning there's lots of different ways that people are searching for the product. Number 2 is lots of searches for those keywords. When you combine the search volume for the top keywords, you want to see at least 5,000 total searches per month. Number 3, you need to be the best or the only available product for that specific offer. When you get into the only stage is when you really are gonna start making some serious money on Amazon, because you have people searching for your product and you're the only one that offers it. And when that happens, they're gonna search it, click it, add it to cart, and purchase, and drive up your ranking. By the way, if you want access to all the slides that you see in this video, you can go to the first link in the description and join my free Power Up community on Discord. It's a free group for entrepreneurs where we discuss Amazon FBA and side hustles, and you can talk directly to me, and in there you can get access to all these slides in this video for free. So now that you've found your product, it's time to start working on your branding. This is the part that I consider to be the fun part, but it's also a part that a lot of new sellers overthink. When really, when you're starting out on Amazon, there's only 3 things to focus on when you're creating your brand. The first is to pick a good name. So make sure it makes sense for what you sell. Don't call it JT's Home Goods and then sell dog products. Number 2, make sure it's short and easy to remember. Amazon likes you to add your brand name at the beginning of your title. So having a short brand name helps keep your titles concise and makes them easier to remember. Number 3, make sure the domains and the social media handles are available. Again, you're thinking long-term brand. And finally, do a quick trademark search on a website like Trademarkia to see if when you want to trademark in the future, it is a possibility. You can go to a site like Brand Name Generator that you see on the right-hand side, enter a few keywords, and they will spit out some brand name suggestions. So if we go back to the USB sticks, let's look at some examples of the brand names. So like I said, Amazon likes it when you put your brand name at the beginning here. So Couture, IB, and these weird brand names again are indicators of low quality products that are actually sold from manufacturers in China. Now I want to show you the hierarchy of brand names because there is different levels to your naming. So if we go in here, we can see that this brand is called AB. The actual store is called Xiao Digital, right? So this is a brand in China, and the business name is called this, Shenzhen something something. So when you're picking your name, there's 3 levels of names. The first level is the name of your business. So that's what goes here. So this is when you get your LLC, your legal entity, you will name it something like JT Franco LLC. That is your business name. Now, when you start your Amazon account, right, you get your professional seller account, they're gonna ask you for a storefront name. So that would be what you put here. So Xiao Digital Storefront. So this doesn't have to be the same as your business name. This is just the storefront that owns all your brands, okay? And then inside your storefront, you can have different brands. Like they have AB, right? So it's the business name, which is the owner of everything you do, and then the storefront name, which is kind of like your Amazon username. And then within your Amazon account, you can have different brands that you sell. So here's an example of a brand that actually makes sense, like I was saying, for the products that they're selling. It's called Zippy Paws, and of course they are selling dog toys. Then again, we can see the hierarchy of their name. Their storefront is called Caspian, and then their actual brand name, business name, is called eTails Inc. Now, if we go to GoDaddy.com, this is where we can see domains. So we search Zippy Paw, of course the brand name or the domain is taken. Then we can go to Trademarkia and see Zippy Paw. It seems like they did not trademark Zippy Paw, but their business name, eTails, was in fact trademarked. And because they got trademarked, we can click into their store here and they get this very fancy special store. And we'll talk more about this in a second. Next is your brand aesthetic. So of course that is a logo. Now I always suggest keep the logo simple. If you look at these huge big brand logos you see on the right, it's always one or two colors unless you're the Olympics, and it's just very simple shapes. It's easily recognizable without any text or without any complex imagery. Number two, pick the colors and stick with them. Be consistent with your colors. And I don't just mean red or green. Pick the exact Pantone or the hex code. If you look at Shopify, Xbox, and the green in the Windows logo, they're all slightly different colors of green and they all give you a different feel for that brand. Third, pick a consistent font. Now I suggest just pick one or two fonts that you use throughout your entire brand. And the reason for these three things, which I'll show you in real life in a second, is that your brand is really just a vibe. It's a feel. It's a way that customers will judge you in a split second based on how you feel. And you want consistency of feel. You want them to see your Amazon listing, to see your images, to see your website, your social media, and your packaging, and understand that you are a cohesive brand. And that's all that really matters, is the cohesion. And finally, the last thing, which I feel is super important, but a lot of newbies skip out on, is packaging. Have packaging that's nice, premium, and is consistent with your brand. Now, a lot of times customers won't see your packaging on Amazon, so it won't contribute to the sale, but it gives them that confirmation when they receive the product that, hey, you are a real brand, you are a premium brand, and it gives them that validation that what they purchased is actually quality. It'll excite them about the product, build better relationship, making them return more often, and reduce your return rates. Now, this is the last key to branding that is really the bonus for those of you that are gonna take this very seriously, and that is to go ahead and register a trademark. Registering a trademark is gonna cost you about $800 US, but it gives you a lot of extra benefits and features. So number one, as a trademark seller on Amazon, you can access what's called brand registry. Brand registry gives you the perks of having A+ content. That is this fancy description that you see on your screen right now. This goes below your Amazon listing. So it gives you extra content and real estate on Amazon to sell your products, and it makes you look more professional as a seller. It allows you to have videos on your listing. It gives you more Amazon analytics. It gives you a special Amazon storefront and an Amazon URL. So when they go amazon.com/yourbrand, it'll actually pull up your brand. And finally, and probably most important, it gives you brand protection. So if anyone tries to counterfeit your product or sell your product or hijack your listing, you can contact the brand registry support and Amazon will remove all the counterfeits of your product. Now again, this is not something you need to do right away. I do suggest it though if you are thinking about building a long-term brand. So we're back on Zippy Paw, which by the way is making $140,000 a month just on this one product, right? So they're doing pretty good. So we're gonna go to Zippy Paw, we're gonna see their store, we can see their font and we can see their coloring. It's kind of this greenish, I don't know what you would call that kind of green, like a turquoise kind of green. I love is a four-legged word. This is kind of what their brand looks like on Amazon. So I went to their website to see, and you can see it's kind of the same thing, right? You get that same vibe, that same feel, the same kind of toned down color of green, the same flat, almost flat pastel colors. Then we went to their brand Instagram account, which are doing great. They have 140,000 followers, so they're a pretty huge brand, right? And you can see even here, they got that same toned down pastel colors for their highlights. As you scroll down, you gotta get that same feel and that same aesthetic. And that's really what a brand is, right? A brand is just that aesthetic, that split-second feel that a customer gets when they look at your product, when they look at your storefront, when they see your packaging. I guarantee if I ordered a Zippy Paw product, it would look very similar to what you see. And you can kind of see, I'm guessing this is their products here. This is how they arrive, right? So it's in these, they got these bags, they got this very nice Christmas look, and the colors are always the same on the packaging and the way that all their boxes and all their product types look. It's very much a cohesive feel, it's a cohesive brand. And when you see a Zippy Paw ad or you see a Sit Big Pro post, you know exactly who it's coming from. And that is the whole goal of creating the aesthetic of your brand. Now again, don't overcomplicate it. It's just pick the simple things, the color, the font, and the logo, and stick with that consistently throughout your post. And as you build up, you can start getting more nuanced with it. Now it's time to make your product. That means finding a manufacturer and placing an order. So the site we're gonna use is Alibaba.com. This is basically a huge marketplace for actual manufacturers and suppliers. This is not AliExpress. This is where you actually order products in bulk, okay? AliExpress is kind of a more direct-to-consumer version of Alibaba, but Alibaba is where you're actually gonna do the manufacturing and find manufacturers to make your brand's products. So what you're gonna do is we're gonna look for a product. Let's say it's USB stick. And here it's gonna come up with all of the results, but first thing you wanna do is click on suppliers instead of products. Because when you look at products, it can show multiple products from the same supplier, so you wanna make sure you're searching by supplier. So we're gonna do that, and now we can see the supplier, see they have multiple of the same product because they are USB stick supplier. So what you wanna do now is actually go ahead and add a bunch of them to your favorites. So just favorite, let's just do this actually. Favorite, favorite. And you would go through them and look at all the suppliers that supply a similar product to what you want to create. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna send them all a message in bulk. But first I wanna explain what trade assurance is. So trade assurance is kind of like an escrow, it's a protection from Alibaba. So instead of paying the supplier directly, you would pay Alibaba, they hold the money, and once you deem that the product has been made and it's successfully ready to be shipped, then Alibaba will release the money to the supplier. So it keeps you safe. Another way of keeping yourself safe is to pay by a credit card or pay by PayPal. Don't do a Western Union transfer, something like that. If you have to do a wire transfer, you can do that, but I would suggest, at least at the beginning, do a credit card or do a PayPal transaction, especially if it's a smaller order. Another bonus tip is to actually do it through PayPal that is connected to a credit card, so you have a double layer of protection. So that's one way, a couple ways of staying safe on Alibaba. For the most part, Alibaba is a pretty safe place. These suppliers have been in business for 9+ years, and again, they're just trying to get your business. They're not out there trying to scam you, they're trying to sell their products, and a lot of Chinese manufacturers are looking for long-term business. So once you have that ready, you're ready to start sending messages to suppliers, but first you need to actually make something called an RFQ. So right here is one of my actual real RFQs for a product I was going to source. This is a request for quote. So this is just a general little PDF document that you can make that's gonna give the supplier a good detailed version of what you want. So instead of trying to do a big message that's kind of typed out, they get a document they can look over. It's very organized, very neat, and it gives you space to add pictures and show the differentiation that you want to make. For example, I wanted to increase the scale. So this is a 6-inch product. I wanted it to be a 12-inch product, so I added that there, right? I wanted it to be black, so I added a black version there. I wanted to make the joint stronger and then change the packaging. So I added it all in this one succinct document. And then I put like general notes, how much I'm looking to order, right? General description of the product, what modifications, and I went through all of this. And if you want this RFQ template, you can go again, join the Discord community, power up, it's a free community. All the stuff from this video will be there listed for free. So once you have your RFQ ready to go, you're gonna go back to Alibaba and we're gonna go to our favorites, remember, because we added all these guys to our favorites. And these are the suppliers that we added. So we're gonna click on all of them, right? You go through all the ones that you selected in your favoriting process, and then you're just gonna hit contact supplier. And this is gonna let you bulk message all of them at the same time instead of just having one-by-one communication. So right here, you're gonna add attachment and you're gonna add your RFQ in that spot. And then you can type a little quick message. Hi, I'm looking for this product with this, please see attached RFQ. And if you have any other questions for them, do it in numbered form. That way it's easier for them to respond to you because you listed out in numbered form. Don't just ask a question in commas and periods. Do it numbered out, so it makes it a lot easier. And the reason you're gonna spend extra time to create the RFQ is because you look a little bit more serious, right? Someone is not gonna create an RFQ if they're just a tire kicker, and these guys, these suppliers, are getting messaged by tire kickers every single day, 24/7. So whatever you can do to stand out, look different, look a little bit more serious is gonna help you out in the long run. So make this RFQ and streamline your communication. Before you invest in your main order, you need to get samples. This is another thing that beginners always skip that really hurts them in the long run. A sample is the only way to see the true quality of your product. Any supplier can make a product look good in pictures, but you need to see it and feel it in your hands to make sure it really is good. When you pay for a sample, most suppliers will reimburse that cost in your initial order. So if you pay $100 for a sample, they will usually take the $100 off of your full order when you're ready to place the order with them. So really, there's not much of a cost to the sample, and it's gonna protect you in the long run. The last thing you wanna do is order a product without getting a sample, sending it to Amazon, and then getting bad reviews because the product is poor quality. You also want to order samples from multiple suppliers. So get 2 to 3 samples to see which supplier produces the best product. This right here is a picture of me getting super overwhelmed by the samples from a clothing product. They sent me all their fabric swatches and I had a hard time really understanding what the differences of all of them were. But without getting these, I wouldn't have known, right? And this goes back to the long-term mindset. Most new sellers just go for speed, so they don't want to wait the 1 week to get the sample and the extra time it adds. But when you cut corners and go for speed, you're only really ripping yourself off. There are no shortcuts to a good, successful business. So take the time, get the samples, and do these things right. So you're ready to ship your product, and there's 2 main ways that this is gonna get done. It's gonna be through sea on the ocean or through air on a plane. Now I'm gonna break this down because shipping seems complex, but really it's quite easy. There's just 3 things you need to know. EXW, FOB, and DDP. These are the shipping terms. And what these describe are your responsibilities as the seller and the responsibilities of the factory, the supplier that you decided to make your product. So EXW is going to be the one where the supplier just gets the product done and leaves it at their factory. So your responsibility now is to get it onto a truck in China, to the Chinese port, onto the boat, to the American port, onto a truck, into the Amazon warehouse. So EXW has the most responsibility for you, and that's why I would not suggest it. Usually we are gonna do FOB. That means free on board. So this is when the factory is responsible for getting it to the American port, and then your responsibility is just that last leg to get it into the Amazon warehouse. Now these both are just when you are shipping by sea. Now, when you're doing your first order, I always suggest doing it through air. Now, the difference between sea and air is that air is faster, but it's more expensive. Sea is cheaper, but it's slower. And it really only makes sense for huge quantities of orders. So if you're only ordering a few hundred units for your first order, always go by air because it's gonna be faster and it's just gonna be a lot easier. And when you do air, you're doing DDP, delivered duties paid, also known as door to door. Now, it's called door to door because it goes from the factory door all the way to Amazon's door without you having to worry about much anything else. So it's a lot simpler, it's a lot faster, and you don't have to worry about much. When you're doing EXW and FOB and you're ready to actually ship by sea, you're gonna hire what's called a freight forwarder. So a freight forwarder is a company that does this entire process for you because there's a lot involved in organizing a shipment like this, especially in crossing the border from China to US. That's international waters, right? So there's customs, there's paperwork, there's brokerage fees, things like that. So hiring a freight forwarder when you're ready to do that process is gonna be a lot easier for you. I like to use a site called Freightos. It's basically a freight forwarding marketplace. So you post and say, I'm looking for a freight forwarder to do this shipment, and then different freight forwarders will bid on it for you. So then you can find the best freight forwarder for you. Also, one more thing I'm going to talk about in shipping is something called a 3PL, which has now become very popular and basically necessary when you're building this business. A 3PL is a factory before the Amazon warehouse. So it used to be that you could just send all your inventory into Amazon, but now we're sending them to 3PLs, third-party logistics, which is another factory that holds our inventory, and then from there they send it into Amazon. And the reason for this is because it gives us more control, and Amazon has restrictions on inventory limits. So as a new seller, you can only send in 1,000 units to an Amazon warehouse. If you want to make 3,000 units in China, you have to send it into a 3PL first. They will hold 2,000 units, and they will send the other 1,000 into Amazon. Then as you sell your products on Amazon, you will continue to drip in more inventory to Amazon. And that is the entire shipping process. Basically, when you're starting, do DDP, get it on the plane, get it directly into Amazon. If you have less than 1,000 units, you don't have to worry about the 3PL. As you grow, as you scale up, you will do FOB, hire a freight forwarder. They will manage the shipping for you and they will get it into your 3PL. As you sell products, your 3PL will continue to drip it into Amazon. So listing creation is an art and a science. It is your sales page. It is the only information a customer has when they're deciding to buy your product. So the keys to a great listing are to maximize the amount of pictures you have, make sure the pictures are high quality, and make sure your bullet points tell a great sales story while also optimizing for keywords. First, we'll look at the art side of it. So this is a terrible listing in my opinion. The picture is not nice. It doesn't pop and show the product very well. It only uses 3 of the images. This picture is just black background. It doesn't give you any extra information as to what the product is, why it's amazing. It doesn't show off the product and make it look really appealing, and it doesn't show any lifestyle photos, meaning showing the product in real life environments and how it's gonna make your life better. So having high quality images that show lifestyle and that show extra information is very important. And then your bullet points. You want it to be sales driven, meaning something that sells the product as opposed to just tells the product. So don't just tell them what it's all about, sell it to them. Tell them why buying this product is going to make their life better. So here's an example of a great listing. First image is a big hero shot of the picture, very clean, makes it look really premium. Then we have more information on these with infographics, right? So more information about the product. Then we can see in real life, the aesthetic, filling it up with products, what it would look like in your everyday life. Then people holding the bag to see a scale of how big it is, right? An overhead shot with a baby, seeing it being used, and then here how it would look in your room. So they're using the maximum images, they are putting really good information, and then here they have the great bullet points telling more about what this product is all about and selling it as to why it's gonna be better for your life. That's why they are Amazon's choice and have 6,000 reviews, right? And then here, if we scroll down, they have this, of course, branding for their trademark, their A+ content for being registered brand owners on Amazon. But this is just the art of it. There's also a science to the listing. You also need to optimize your listing for search, which means optimizing your keywords. So your best keywords need to be in the title. And you need to know the difference between phrase, exact, and broad match for your keywords. Then the second most important part is to put your keyword in the bullet points, and then the description, and then the back end. So an exact match would be this, diaper caddy. So exactly products that have diaper caddy coming up are an exact match, right? Diaper caddy, diaper caddy. Now, a phrase match would be something like diaper caddy organizer. So these are phrase matches, something that is after or before that kind of make it a phrase. Then a broad match would be something that breaks up the term, like diaper small caddy, that makes it a different phrase. The reason this is important for your listing is because you want to have the exact phrase that people are searching in the top spot. So it seems like diaper caddy is the best keyword, so you don't want to break these up. You want diaper caddy to be at the front, in the forefront of your listing. And if you got a trademark, you can also add extra keywords in your special A+ content section, and that will actually contribute to your rank. The beautiful thing again is that it's not guesswork, right? So I have this listing builder that I use inside Helium 10, and we can go diaper caddy, and it shows us here that this is the #1 keyword, and we just cross it off here, right? So diaper caddy, organizer, and as we add these and build out our listing here, right, it crosses off the keywords so we know that we are optimizing by adding the main keywords. And if we add diaper caddy again at the bottom here, right, so we go diaper caddy, if I spell it right, or caddy organizer, it shows a little 2. So we want to use our main keywords, our most important keywords, as many times as possible, and in the forefront of our listing. So here, in the title, in the bullet points, and that is how we're optimizing our listing with our keywords. And then from here, of course, we can just copy it and paste it onto our actual Amazon listing. So we know that we are keyword optimized, so we have the science of our listing down, and then we're ready to make the art of the listing. Now, what I like to use for images is a site called Outline-Matic. They do all the images and stuff for me. They're a little premium, but so if you want to save money and do it a little bit cheaper, I would go with Upwork. And if you're gonna go with Upwork, I would suggest not having them take images of your product, but to do a 3D render. So a 3D renderer or a 3D artist is someone that creates these images like this on a computer. So these are product images that are not actually pictures. And this is really the best way to do it on Amazon. So you can see here, this product is a 3D render, right? These are not real images of the product. And the reason this is great is because it comes out perfect, right? You don't have to have great lighting and a great photography skill and worry about reflections or things like that. This here, most people would not even know that this is not a real product, right? The lights and everything, the way they shine, this is not a real image. This is a 3D rendered image of this product, and it's actually pretty cheap to get this done. So depending on who you hire, it'll cost you like 30 to 60 bucks per image, and then they can put it in any background, they can flip it into any position, and it's gonna be a great way to have very high quality professional imagery done for very cheap. You're almost ready to start getting those sales and making that money, but now it's time to rank and launch your product. Now, a lot of newbies think that ranking and launching starts when your product arrives in the Amazon warehouse, but the truth is, it starts way before that. The smart and successful sellers start their rank and launch process outside of Amazon. That means getting organic content for your own brand, right? That's why it's important that you got your own brand social medias. And my favorite right now is TikTok, because it's so easy to get quick organic traffic and get views and clicks for a brand new account, a brand new product, and start driving that traffic to Amazon or to your own email lists. Then it would be to get influencers, micro influencers, again on TikTok or YouTube or blog posts to actually post about your product. Another great place is Reddit or Facebook groups that are dedicated to your specific niche. Depending on what your product is, to go into a beauty group, a beauty subreddit, a dog subreddit, and kind of post about your product, but also just provide value. Don't make it all about getting sales. Make it about providing value as a brand and getting people to enjoy your brand, so they'll be more inclined to click when you do ask for them to go and check out your product. And don't ignore these platforms, because there's one thing Amazon loves, it's outside traffic, because they will reward you for bringing people that were not on Amazon and taking them onto the website. That is the whole goal of their website, and from there, it's their job to convert into sales. So bringing in outside traffic from these outside sources is going to really help bolster and boost your ranking and your relationship with Amazon. The more you bring in, the more they reward you with higher ranking, and the higher ranking you get, the more sales you will get, giving you, of course, more money. And then, of course, it's the inside Amazon rank and launch strategies, which is going to be primarily PPC, pay per click. This is Amazon's in-house advertising system. These are the sponsored products that you see when you search for products on Amazon. This system allows you to pay Amazon to rank your products at the top of search results for your best keywords. The beautiful thing is that when someone clicks on your sponsored listing and they actually add that to cart and they buy it, it adds to your organic growth. So PPC at the beginning is crucial to show up at the top of searches, and then as you get sales, you'll start organically showing up there for your products. And a lot of people see PPC as an expense, but really it's part of your launching budget. So you want to budget for PPC when you're actually doing the original profit calculations of your product. At the beginning, PPC will be not that profitable, but as you start getting rank and as you start getting reviews, PPC will be a lot more profitable, and you'll actually start making money for your PPC ads. And I would start that campaign right away. A lot of people say that you need to get reviews first, but the truth is, starting that campaign is the only way you're gonna generate those initial reviews. It's like the chicken and the egg. So you need to have a good enough listing, a good enough offer that you can get sales from your campaign even without reviews. And once you get those initial few sales, which will cost more money because of course you have no reviews, then you will start generating more reviews for the product, and then it'll be easier to rank, and then your cost for the ads will drop. The reason your ad cost will be more expensive is because you have to get more clicks to generate a sale. Once you start getting good reviews, you'll get a better conversion rate, meaning you won't have to get as many people seeing your listing to then convert into a sale. And that will lower your costs and increase your profit margin. So reviews are critical to your success on Amazon, and that's why Amazon takes them very seriously. So here's what not to do when you are launching your product. Number one, ask friends to buy and review. Just don't do it. If you have friends that have shared your Wi-Fi, that are friends with you on Facebook, that you interact with online, don't ask them to buy or review your product. Now, if you do want to push your luck a little bit and ask someone to buy your product, make it a friend of a friend of a friend. So not your friend, but your friend's sister, or your friend's sister's friend. Not your brother, but your brother's teacher's daughter, right? Make it a couple connection lines away from actually who you know. But again, I really don't suggest doing it, but if you want to, that's how I would do it. Number 2, incentivizing reviews in any way. That means bribing basically for reviews. Sometimes you'll see Amazon sellers deliver a product and inside there's a little card, an insert card that says, give us a 5-star review and we will give you some kind of coupon. This Amazon takes very seriously. They don't care if you're a huge seller. Amazon has recently banned multi-million-dollar sellers for review manipulation. So just play within the lines when it comes to Amazon reviews. Number 3, waste the honeymoon period. Absolutely don't waste the honeymoon period. Now the honeymoon period is a 0 to 2 month phase when you first launch your products. The Amazon gives you the benefit of the doubt. They make it a little bit easier to rank your products. They give you that little bit of juice and a little bit of boost to see if your product is going to actually convert with customers. So you want to baby your product for the first 2 months for sure to make sure that you're doing everything right and not wasting that period. Number 4, participating in shady practices. This is just another part of the game of Amazon. You will see it. There's a lot of sellers who will do things that are kind of against the rules and very against the rules. I just don't suggest it. If you're trying to build a long-term business, something that, can supply income for your life, something that you can sell in the long run, that you're going to actually put your time and put your effort in, just don't practice shady practices. It's just not worth it. It's going to hurt you more than it will help you. Number 5, running out of stock. This is an absolute thing you want to avoid at all costs because after you launch your product, if you do a really good job and you rank well on your keywords, if you run out of stock, you basically have to start all over again and then you lose that honeymoon period. So make sure when you're launching your product, you're calculating for how much inventory you might need and how fast you're gonna sell your products so that you don't run out of stock. And if you feel like you might, make sure that you have enough money to reinvest to get more products made as fast as possible. And that's how you start an Amazon business. Now watch this video next to get a detailed step-by-step look at the practical side of doing this, of using Helium-10, finding products, and doing it in real life. This beginner's guide is brand new for 2022, is gonna show you the in-depth on the screen version of what you just learned today in this video. So click that video now and I'll see you there.